By the end of today's episode, you'll know if it's okay to use a reader of a different gender in your self-tape and how to make sure that doing so doesn't hurt your audition. Welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we help aspiring screen actors find high-quality auditions, sign with great agents, and book major roles in legit productions. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and today I'll be covering whether casting cares about your reader's gender, simple tricks to keep your self-tape looking and sounding professional, and what really matters most when using a reader. So can you use a woman to read for a man or vice versa in a self-tape? Well, the answer is yes. Casting doesn't really care about your reader's gender. It's totally fine to use a female reader for a male character or the other way around. What matters most is that you are clear, connected, and in the scene. However, it can be beneficial to use the correct gender whenever possible, especially if you find having the opposite gender distracting to your acting ability. I usually recommend having a few different people of different genders available as readers. So you want to find some people that you know and trust and offer to be a reader for them if they offer to help you out as well when needed. This way you can call different options and get someone that will fit as closely as possible to who the reader should be. Again, it just makes things a little bit easier when you do, but it's not required. Now, just general note on readers, you want to keep the reader's voice low and neutral. So you don't want their voice to kind of pull focus away from your performance. Ask them to stay off camera so we don't see them in the shot. Make sure that they speak clearly. And make sure that they're not acting too big, like overdoing their words, and make sure that their voice isn't like way too loud. We should still be able to hear them clearly, but their voice shouldn't be like crazy loud. Like don't have them stand right next to the speaker or like the microphone or whatever on the camera. So then it's like overpowering you. Another thing is avoid like really deep voices if you have a female character that's supposed to be the reader, and avoid like really high voices for males. And also don't let your reader like perform as the opposite gender, like a guy who's trying to make his voice high and girly. That's going to also kind of be distracting and just kind of weird. So just keep it real and simple and neutral. At the end of the day, remember, you can 100% use a reader of the opposite gender as long as you keep their voice calm and off camera so the focus stays on you. Spend some time finding a few readers that you can reach out to whenever you need so that you have more than one option when the inevitable big important audition comes your way. Well, thanks for listening. Now, if you want to dive even deeper on auditioning and self-tapes, I highly recommend checking out my podcast called Forget Complicated Self-Tapes: Why Keeping It Simple Wins Every Time, which is episode number 132. I promise you'll learn a ton and have a much better understanding of what goes into a strong self-tape audition. Again, it's episode number 132, Forget Complicated Self-Tapes. Here's why keeping it simple wins every time. It's on the Actor's Career Compass. Oh, by the way, here's a kind review that I recently got. A great podcast for actors, very informative and very encouraging. It gives step-by-step advice that can be put into immediate use. I have listened to every episode. I love it. It's by a username, Accurate Reviewers. Well, thank you for that kind review. Now, if you found the podcast helpful, I'd greatly appreciate if you could leave a review as well. It really does help more actors find the podcast because it starts the show to show up in suggested shows for other people. So you just go to ratethispodcast.com/actorsuccess, and I'll try to read your review aloud in an upcoming episode. Also, if you're watching this from YouTube, please do subscribe. If you've gotten this far, hitting that little subscribe button helps a ton. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.